Hello guys, here we are today with Tony Brancatisano and George from Highland, and we're welcoming Tony to E&S Trading to come and do a demonstration on the Highland cooktop, cooking all sorts of the fantastic dishes which Tony is famous for. So we're going to see some great pastas and some great ravioli and other dishes that Tony has done which we can't wait to see. So,
thanks, Rob.
Tony, welcome to E&S, and we look forward to a great day.
And some good pasta.
I think so.
Are you hungry?
I'm starving.
Okay, well let's get started.
Terrific. Tony was the winner of the sort of, if you like, MasterChef equivalent of a reality cooking program in Italy, and she'll explain much better than I can her experiences through that process, and then becoming the winner of that competition. So I might pass across to you, Tony, and you can get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I am Australian, and I've lived in Italy for 13 years, and so I decided to apply to do an audition for this cooking reality because I thought, oh, that'll be easy. It's actually very stressful and really hard. And the other thing about reality TV, you see people crying all the time, and I always think, oh, they're crying. I cried a few times. Now, I'm not a chef. I'm someone who loves to cook. I've always had a passion for cooking. So what I'm going to do today is actually really some basic pasta recipes and things that I think anybody can cook. People say I don't cook, I can't cook. I think that's not true. I think anybody can follow a recipe. I think you just have to enjoy doing it. I was just talking to Rob before, and I said it's really, we all cook at home every day, and I don't think we're used to. It's very hard to have people walking past and critiquing everything you do. The first recipe I'm going to do is called pasta risottata. Risottata because it's cooked like you would make risotto. In the reality show I did, we had a mentor, our chef, and he followed us through the whole show, and he does not believe in throwing pasta in boiling water. So yeah, exactly. I'd never heard of this way of cooking pasta before, and basically it's how you'd cook a risotto. We're always rinsing it afterwards. Everyone worries about that starch. Well, actually, we're going to use that to make a beautiful, makes the pasta creamy. We're going to add the pasta to a hot saucepan. It's dry. I can put anything in there. There's no oil. There's nothing in there yet. I'm going to add the pasta here. It has to be hot. The hot saucepan, I haven't put the stove on yet, but it has to be hot because if you're putting it in cold, it's like adding pasta to cold water. Right. And our stock has to be really hot too, because when we add it, we want to hear. You'll see later, you want to hear that sizzle, but it's a slow absorption method of cooking, so yeah, like risotto. I'm also going to cook the vegetables one at a time, and that's because some vegetables are going to cook quicker than others. We don't want mushy zucchini while maybe the mushrooms aren't as yet cooked. I said when I go out to eat, I said it doesn't only have to taste good, it has to look good too, it has to look inviting, and I said, that's what I am. I said I cook for my family, and when I go out to eat, I hate going out to eat and paying a lot of money for some piddly little thing that looks, it's like a piece of art, but you go away and there's nothing worse than going home and thinking I'm still hungry. You've paid a fortune for dinner. The great thing about this stovetop is, I don't know about you at home, but I've got a very small stovetop at home, and I'm constantly moving my saucepans from the big one to the smaller one. This one, you want to say, Rob, how the heat goes from high to low?
What we've got is Tony's cooktop down from 0.5 of a megajoule or up to 22 megajoules. And the exciting thing is that means we can have dishes right up to wok burner going really fast, or right down simmering on that same burner. So this is one of the most powerful domestic wok burners we have available in all brands. So for anyone who wants that extra bit of space or the full control of gas, the Highland cooktop is one of the best products we have. Yeah, it's a very exciting product. Well, being 22 megajoules, I mean the normal competitor models to this are only about 15 or 16, so to have 22 megajoules of power makes a huge difference to your heat up time. So you'll feel the heat of that when that's it.
I can feel it from here.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Now I'm just going to cook these until they're transparent. I'm not going to make them golden because we're going to cook them sort of twice. They're being cooked in the fry pan first, and then later on we're going to add them to our saucepan with our pasta, which I'm going to get going in a minute. So I'm going to make my saucepan hot, hopefully not too hot. Get my ladle ready for my stock. Now let's hope we hear the magic noise. Yeah. Okay, that's what we want to hear. Okay, so we're going to do that sizzling, and you watch it. You watch it to make sure that our pasta's not going to stick on the bottom. In between each vegetable, we have to do this. That's just to deglaze the pan of all our juices, get rid of all the veggies. But we're not going to throw that away, we're actually going to add it to our pasta, and we do that with in between each vegetable that we're going to be cooking. These are really light. Because normally, you know, I don't know, a friend of mine in Italy has a big stove, and to clean the stovetop I have to actually use 2 hands to pick them up. It's really heavy, and I think they're actually really uncomfortable. These are really light. Don't add too much oil because, I mean, I'm doing it as I go. I don't want at the end my pasta to be too oily. You don't want to be tasting the olive oil as opposed to the pasta you're making. Where I live, our olive oil's from the olive trees that are surrounding us. And if you go and help your neighbours pick their olives in October when we do the olive harvest, you usually end up with olive oil for the whole year. Okay, so I'm not going to put these into the pasta. I'm going to put them aside and I'm going to add them later. Actually, do you want to talk about that? Because that's good.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
The outside.
Because it's being a full double ring burner, so you get the outside ring as well as the inside ring.
So when it was on low, that was actually off?
Yep.
Another thing that Rob was telling me about this, which I think is great, is if you're doing slow cooking and you want to leave something on the stove for 2 hours and you want to go outside and do some gardening, or if the weather's nice and you've left all the windows open in the house and a breeze blows through and the flame goes out, this will actually reignite itself. How many times does it do it? 5 times?
George?
George? 5 times? I was paying more attention than you were.
I didn't know the 5 times, but I've just learned something.
5 times, and then if it can't, like say maybe this has come off or it can't ignite itself, it shuts the gas off, which I think is a great safety.
Probably
Don't do that.
didn't I?
Rob, I might get you occasionally to just give that a stir,
I can
okay?
do that for you.
Make sure that pasta's not sticking on the bottom. For any mistakes, I'm blaming you today. So I've got you here. In Italian it's called la scuola, and the whole idea is we were supposed to learn. We weren't allowed to be professionals, and the judges also looked every day that we were learning, that we did use you know, tricks or methods that we'd learnt the day before, and that we were applying it as we were going. Now, I think, especially with cooking, but with everything in life, not only cooking, you know, I think we've always got something to learn. We were actually, at the beginning, it was supposed to be 15 contestants, and I went along to the audition, and I actually didn't get accepted straight away. I got the rejection email saying thank you for coming, blah, blah, blah. Very disappointed, and I didn't realise how much I wanted to do it until I was rejected. And then 10 days before they started filming, they decided to change the format and that they wanted 16 contestants and not 15. And so I was lucky 16. So it was very lucky, and then lucky that I went on to win it. I must admit, doing this cooking reality, I did learn that pasta can be cooked in many different methods, and new methods. I sort of thought, how can we learn a new method to cook pasta? Well, most chefs in Italy, I've watched them, whenever they cook pasta, even if they start it off in boiling water, they'll always finish it in a pan. Even with the pomodoro sauce, the tomato sauce, which often, because I was a bit sceptical. I was thinking, well, you know, maybe you could do it with this recipe, but maybe you can't do it with a carbonara, or maybe you can't do it with, you know, a basic tomato sauce. But you can. The creaminess has just come from cooking it that way by just adding stock slowly to the pasta. So all, as I was saying before, that starch that we usually wash off actually makes it creamy. Buon appetito.
That looks...
It's actually beautiful to look at, and yeah, it's got that creamy. You have a taste?
Wow.
And we'll give a taste to everyone else. You better say it's good. I'll pay you later, Rob.
That is awesome.
You like that? Oh, thank you. This is what I love, because if the kids love it, I just think that's fantastic.